session. The session I'm moderating is titled AI and the Opportunity It Presents. I don't know about you, but these days, when I leave my home, I just have my phone. So I could book a holiday, pay for my travel, go on social media, do everything. Everything is digital. So it can be scary. We don't know what to expect. But I have two amazing speakers today, and I'm going to call them out individually. I have Ifeoluwa I can say this. Ifeoluwa Ogunbufumi. There, you can say it. I'm going to say it anyway. And I also have Chooks coming. Chooks is a highly experienced specialist in enterprise digital transformation, complex technology, and delivery. A round of applause for speakers. It takes a lot of courage to get on stage. I'll say that from experience. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay. Pardon? We are matching. She says we are matching. Okay. So it's going to be like a number of questions. I know we are out. Time is not on our side, but I will make sure this is as educative as possible and everyone leaves here with some points. So we're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and not. I don't want to assume we all know what that means. So I think we're going to. I'm going to ask them to do a little bit of intro, because I want to believe you've all had time to read their bio. So I'm going to ask Ifeoluwa and Chooks. I'm going to go to Chooks first. Can you tell us something about yourself that is not in your bio?
Can everyone hear me? It's really great to be here. I am Chooks Anochie. I work in the consulting space as a transformation director. And just before I tell you something about myself, I just want to talk about my relationship with AI. Just as most of you, it's as a student of AI and as an enthusiast. So I am continuously learning the full spectrum of AI's potential, because it's a baby in terms of digital transformation and research. It's still a very embryonic area. So hopefully in this session, as I explore it in the organizational context, we can understand a bit more around it and hopefully we can learn together.
Thank you.
Something about me that no one knows. I actually like this. I used to be on TV in Nigeria. And I did it for about 4 or 5 years before I ran away.
What?
I used to model.
Oh.
Yeah. So when Etisalat
you have a
first
room
came
full
to
of
Nigeria,
women.
I was on Close Up for a while, the Green Packet. I used to be on Etisalat when they first came with Banky W. Yeah, so that's something most people don't know about me, because that part of my life is sadly long gone. But yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thank you. We have a celebrity in the house. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I am Ifeoluwa Ogunbufumi. I'm going to start introducing myself like that now, because I typically say, oh, my name is, but I am Ifeoluwa. One thing about me that's not in my bio, and I'm looking at the lovely women in front because I've known them for many, many years. My Wimbiz journey started when I was an undergrad at the University of Lagos, and this was many years ago. And I used to volunteer at every Wimbiz annual conference. So this was under Musulaya Day, and Mrs. Ahmad and Asaya Lili, and I am really at the back, hey, you know, and I remember year after year, I would be at the Wimbiz conferences thinking, I can show up like this now at some point in my life, you know, looking like this, speaking like this, you know, I mean, just listening to people who were, you know, employees, you know, talking about the kind of work they did and how they loved what they were doing, listening to people who ran their businesses and talking about the kind of impact they were making. And I didn't even realize that those were just seeds planted inside of me. So when I would think about the kind of things I want to do, I remember the women at Wimbiz. And I think it's just so humbling for me, honestly, to move from volunteer to speaking today at Wimbiz. So thank you, everyone, for the opportunity. It's a very personal one for me, but thank you, guys.
I think that's so amazing, from being a volunteer and being on stage and sharing your thought knowledge on artificial intelligence. Half of us are looking up to you.
Ha.
Well, should I say all of us are looking up to you? So like I said, I think we need to start from the foundation. What exactly is AI? So do you want to go first?
Okay, AI is artificial intelligence. Let's start from there. But I'd say, and I'm going to speak as someone who uses AI tools daily, someone who also works with founders who are building AI tools. And I'd say that for me, it represents efficiency, it represents ease, it represents more convenience in the world. And I want us to think about it like that. And this is talking to people who are a bit skeptical about it. Do I really want to try this out? It's what we've moved from. So think about how you search for things on Google to say, find me, or I'm trying to, or say, I want to travel to Spain. And you type that in Google and you start seeing a bunch of things there, like, where do I start from? We've moved from that to saying in ChatGPT, I have a budget of $1,000. I want to travel to Spain. I want to go to 3 cities. Literally, this is the conversation you're typing. I want to go to 3 cities. I don't want to be out till 8 p.m. or later than 8 p.m. Give me a routine or itinerary for that. And you see the most amazing. So literally, from looking through multiple things and multiple sources, you have one big platform that then helps you with answers that you're looking for on the go, right? And again, like I said, I work with a lot of founders who are building AI tools across different industries: healthcare, education, finance, real estate, things that I never even knew were possible. And it's just inspiring to see how well the world is moving. And what I want to say, before I move on to Chooks, is please don't shy away from it. What you don't want to do is to be left behind, please. I don't want anyone in this room to be left behind in anything. I think the panel before us really talked about how even the younger, like kids, are leveraging, AI tools. You don't want to be looking confused when they're talking to you. Everyone likes that, mommy is so cool. Now my mom, I'm making her, I'm like, mommy, try that thing on ChatGPT, and my mom is 63, so you can tell that. But I think I just don't want anyone to be afraid of it. It takes a bit of time to latch on, and it's fine. I tell people, go at your own pace. You're not in competition with anyone, right? So go at your own pace, but decide that you want to learn new things, every day.
So who is using ChatGPT to book their next holiday? Anyone here?
More hands. See, Mrs. Adeshola is nodding. And fantastic.
Okay, I haven't tried that, but I would explore. So do you want to have a go at that
Sure,
question as well?
Yeah, I like what you first said about not being afraid. And one of the ways we are able to build confidence is by understanding something. Demystifying AI is one of the best ways to really start to exploit it. In its simplest form, AI is just a technology that enables systems to mimic human intelligence. We've got a room full of women with, gravitas, intelligence, with experience. For them to have all that, they've used their human intelligence. They've reasoned, they've problem solved, they've recognized patterns in the work they do, they've done from the basic to the super ordinary. So when we think of AI, just think of a technology that's trying to copy you. But in my investigations and experience in my professional life, I found that AI is slightly more than that. For any system to be said to be AI or AI powered, it has to possess and exhibit certain characteristics. It must be able to execute what's known as an input algorithm, code. And it must be able to do that to a desired end. So if you told an AI system to analyze some documents for you, and it told you the weather, then that's not right. It must be able to solve a problem, whether complex or simple. And to do that, it must be able to process data. So it could collect data, filter, transmit, analyze. It must be able to work with data, chew it up and spit it out for you to use. It must be able to predict. So that processed data, it must be able to evaluate multiple options and say, option C is probably the best way to go, and then do something about it, which is the next point. It must be able to decide, take action. If it still needs to come to you and ask you, please select my next route or what to do, then it's not AI. Alongside that, it must be able to continuously improve itself by learning and being trained, and it must be able to adapt. Now, the clincher is at the end. All of these things, it must be able to do it autonomously. If it requires you and I to do something for it, then it's not AI. So when we talk about AI, it's a system that uses algorithms. It solves complex problems, makes accurate predictions, makes informed decisions, while continuously learning and adapting and doing all of that autonomously. When you go to book a flight, you see a pop-up. Some kind of chatbot comes up and says, "Hi, how can I help you?" That's AI. If you told it, "I'm angry that I wasn't able to book a flight," it's going to be able to pick the keywords in there. That's sentiment analysis, which is a capability in AI. It's able to tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How can I help you book your flight?" So it's sentient. It's, well, not quite sentient, but it's autonomous in its decision-making, and it's able to process the data in front of it. So when you think of AI, think of it in terms of those characteristics. And hopefully, as we talk, I will explain how organizations are starting to use it in the workplace.
I knew that was my next question, but I'm just going to lean on to what you said. How accurate would you say AI is? Because it's a machine, right? And I feel AI can be quite biased. And because the people building AI, they don't look like us. Most of them don't look like us. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so. The people who are behind.
Oh, you
AI.
have little faith.
So, well, how accurate? how accurate is AI?
I know lots of machine learning engineers,
because it's machine,
data
right?
scientists,
And
AI specialists who are women, Nigerian women. So
okay.
yeah. So yeah, that's one of the challenges it has, and I could touch on the challenges, but one of the main challenges AI has is ethics, particularly bias. I know Microsoft had an AI tool that was used for recruitment, and they noticed that it had bias against female candidates, and quickly they had to shut it down. So ethical challenges is a big challenge within AI. And to be honest, there is a symbiotic relationship with AI capability growing and us using it. The more we use it, the more it learns and adapts and gets better. If we don't use it, it has nothing to work with. So there is a challenging period with any AI model that's out there. But the more we use it, the more we train it, which is also known as reinforcement learning. Thumbs up, thumbs down, you did wrong, you did right. It starts to learn, it starts to adapt, it starts to get better. Hopefully, it's less biased.
Thank you for that. So I'm going to go into AI and individuals and businesses. And I'm sure we have entrepreneurs here. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I said I'm a businesswoman, so that's why I'm here with WinBiz. So how has AI helped organization? Is it a benefit or is it a hindrance? I'm going to come to you first.
I'd say personally, it's been more of a benefit than anything else, right? Of course, this version of AI that the world is now starting to accept is still very recent. So of course, we've had all our Hey Siri and things like that for a while, but now being able to have conversations with your computer and things like that and giving you output is still fairly recent. So again, it's give it some time to, get better. I tell people, think about AI like a super assistant who gets better when you keep working them. So it's not like a human being that says, please, I have burnouts, I'm done, I need to go on leave, I'm exhausted. The more you use it, the better it gets, right? So it's still improving as we continue to use it, right? And then in terms of organizations, I tell people, and I like to give this in terms of examples. So a couple of years ago when I was still in Nigeria, I used to work with one of the leading law firms. And I remember we had a couple of companies that we were company secretary for. So we'd go for their board meetings. And the young lawyers would have to be in the rooms just predominantly taking notes because you have to send minutes to the members of the board. And it's just interesting to see how now, you don't now as a young lawyer, or literally as a lawyer who goes for board meetings, you can actually listen to those conversations. And I'm going to be honest and say, it was some of those board conversations that I listened to that inspired me to go to business school, right? And then I came here and went to the University of Oxford, right? So imagine when people have more time on their hands to listen to more conversations that helps them to do more things in their lives, because I've seen it happen for me, right? So now you have companies like Otter.ai, Fireflies, that are literally note takers. So you download those, they go with you into your meeting. You are fully listening to your meeting, very attentive, right? And what happens after that? After the meeting, your note taker sends you an email. It can summarize your entire conversation. It can transcribe your entire conversation word for word, right? And literally, rather than saying, oh, after the meeting, oh, we'll come back to you on a summary of what happened, and that's taking hours, sometimes you're trying to remember what was said. You're looking at, maybe you don't even see your writing at some points, and things like that. Now you literally have a whole device, a whole platform that does all that work for you. And in like 5-10 minutes, you're reading through, you're making the adjustments, because I always tell people, don't rely on AI like it's you. It's only trying to be you. So there's still that human element and human intelligence that must always be involved, right? But you now have that, and in 5-10 minutes, you're sending off what you need to do. I use it when I work with my clients. I run a startup advisory firm based in London, and I'm having a meeting with a potential client, right? Now I can be fully attentive, because after that meeting, if I need to send a proposal, I can do that in under 20 minutes, right? Things that will probably take me an hour or more, or maybe I'll say, well, I'll come back to it. Now you can save time, and I think it's top priority that you can save time. You can use that time saved. You don't know how much hours saved that AI gives you that you can then channel into more important things. And I think that more and more companies and more organizations are beginning to embrace that. I think I would also say I like how it's also sort of expanded the minds of people, right? So more and more people are saying, okay, we can use AI to disrupt this industry. I'm seeing, founders building things that I'm like, wow, like look at where the world is headed. Now, you want to view a property here, you have virtual tours, right? Even if you can't make it, AI helps you do that. People are building, AI tools in finance, in education, and I think the world is getting to a better place. It won't be perfect, right? And I think we should always remember that, because again, it's always humans behind a lot of these innovations. So it won't be perfect, but it's getting to a place where we can save time. And I personally know what I do with time saved, right? And I'm sure we all here know what we do with time that you can save. So a lot is happening, but personally, it's more a benefit than a hindrance.
So in summary, AI helps us to be more efficient and enhances our work. So Chicks, I don't know if you have your own perspective that you want to share before I go to the next question on employment. Well, go on.
Sure. So in the organizational context, AI has been transforming a lot of organizations. But for me, I would be remiss if I didn't sort of temper our understanding of AI a little bit. When we talk about AI, we're really talking about the foundational capabilities of AI. What do I mean? Machine learning is a foundational capability. Deep learning, which both of them use algorithms to solve very complex problems. Could be recognizing images or patterns, could be solving a problem or making a decision. Your facial recognition, when your phone opens up with your face, that's called computer vision. Tesla uses it on their self-driving cars. So when we talk about AI in the workplace, we're really talking about those foundational capabilities and how organizations have started to use them to improve the way they work, unlock new ways to make money, and make employees and customers happier. So if we look at a very commonly known area, automation. When you have a task that is repetitive, time-consuming, time-intensive, for the past 3, 4, 5 years, automation has been transforming how organizations do those type of tasks. I don't know if there are any bankers in the house. I don't know if you've ever interacted with invoices, but imagine working on invoices in the hundreds. You're bound to make one mistake or the other. I would. And one of the banks here, HSBC, recently automated their whole invoicing process. How they extract information, how they analyze information, how they validate that with purchase orders and the rest, how they send that information to multiple financial systems and auto-approve payments. They were able to cut down the time it took to do that from an average of, I think, 10 days to a matter of hours. So that's one way AI capabilities such as machine learning and deep learning are making inroads in organizations. Another way that I know is enriching the customer experience, whether the customer or the employee, because the employee is really the first customer of any organization. Um, Natural language processing, NLP, is a fantastic AI capability because it understands human language. It understands human sentiment. And using it to be able to gauge how satisfied, how happy or upset a customer and employee is, it can do that at breakneck speed. And then turn that into recommendations. It can recommend a personalized development program for you. Say, for example, you want to learn more about AI and you're very upset or unhappy that your organization doesn't have such capabilities. It could make that recommendation to HR to say, this person needs to be put in an AI introduction course. Or it could recommend policies to change in the organization in order to make that organization create a more positive workforce. So AI has transformed the way organizations are working through automation, through efficiency, through enhancing the customer experience. The one I like the most is it makes you make decisions smarter. Traditionally, there's a trade-off between if I want to make a smart decision, I need more time. If I want to make a fast decision, I have to understand that it may not be the smartest. AI is able to consume vast amounts of data sets, chew it up, spit out insights that you can use at a fraction of the time. So you can be smart and fast. And I know organizations that are currently using that. Waitrose, last year they wanted to make their shelves stock more products that their customers would use. So how can they drive continuous customer demand? So what they did something quite interesting. They created a machine learning model and fed it with information on customer data, on sales figures, market trends, weather patterns, economic and political situations, geographical locations. I think within a month or two, the machine learning models were able to tell them what customers bought, how much they bought, where they bought it, what the weather was like when they bought it, what the political situation was when they bought it, what the economic situation was when they bought it. This had a direct impact on their inventory. So very quickly, they knew what to stock and when to stock it, which improved their inventory management and also improved their product availability. So AI in the workspace has been doing a lot of things, but we need to also think about it from AI capabilities rather than just thinking of AI generically. So we think about AI capabilities, we're talking about NLP, machine learning, reinforcement learning. I know there's a startup run by Dr. I can't remember her name, but she sat over there. And she uses reinforcement learning algorithms to be able to analyze the way kids react to math and some other subjects, to be able to personalize how to coach and train those kids to be better. That's reinforcement learning. I think that's fantastic. So there are many ways AI capabilities are working in organizations, and that's just some of them.
I feel like just hearing you speak, I needed to come with a note taker because just showing your gems, just showing so much knowledge. I'm going to ask this question. One more question for the panel from me, then I'm going to go to the audience because I want us to look at individuals because you've talked a lot about working smarter and being more efficient. So so for the entrepreneur, for the businesswoman, someone in work, you have a presentation. You don't want to spend hours on PowerPoint. Now everything seems to be amazing. You're preparing for an interview. For all the coaches here, we're not taking away your job. So what type of tools for anyone in work or looking for work how can they use AI to enhance or be more efficient? Anyone.
So I'll talk about a bunch of tools, and I like to talk about it in the sense of the ones that are more popular so that you can get started with those ones. So, I mean, everyone talks about ChatGPT, but then there's great options and great alternatives as well. So you have platforms like Perplexity AI, right? And I like Perplexity because it even gives you sources. So ChatGPT will just give you a whole block of text and give you feedback. But Perplexity would even give you sources, so you can go and verify things. You can be sure that it's not information that is a waste of your time, right? And I like to, again, give practical examples. So imagine that you're here now sitting at, Wimbes, and you probably want to do a post after this event, right? But you're like, how do I even start talking about this event? A lot happened. You can literally put it in, your ChatGPT or Perplexity and say, I attended an amazing, women-based conference today. So many great speakers. I met a lot of them. The conference was focused on XYZ thing. Create a post for me that talks about, how the conference went. I want to share this on my social media platform, right? You can even create images, and you will be amazed. You literally don't need to think too much. You don't need to even think deep. And in 2 minutes, you've put up your post on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and boom, you've moved on with your day, right? So I think start with the small things, right? So start with literally, honestly, the small things. I tell people, don't try and start with the massive things. There's no need to stress yourself. Bit by bit, start with the small things. In terms of people looking at probably employment opportunities and everything, there's so many options now where you don't even need to create your resume from scratch, right? So you have platforms like Resume Online, you have platforms like CoverDoc, AI, where you don't even need to create cover letters yourself anymore. You put in your key details and the things you've done, and it creates curated options for you. But there's one I really like. It's called Yodlee, Yoodli. And what Yodlee does is you can even do like dry runs for your interviews. So literally you're saying, I have an interview coming up for this particular role. I want to do a dry run. So you do a dry run, you record yourself, and then it gives you feedback, right, on how well you've done, what you need to do better based on your profile, based on the job description. And I think those are that's the way the world is going, where you don't need to find your sister who is available to say, okay, give me feedback on what you think, or look at the mirror and talk to yourself. There's easier way to do these things now. And I think what's even more exciting is that the world is embracing these options. I'm sure Adese sees it a lot in the HR space where, AI tools are helping you screen candidates
We're trying not to lose our jobs.
Yeah. But AI tools are helping you screen candidates quicker and things like that. It's just saving you time. And honestly, time saved can be, put into other things, and then you can realize how much creativity that you have. So I think some of these tools are, excellent ways to at least get started if you haven't gotten started. I know a lot of people here, I've seen some faces and I've not even started this thing you're talking about, and it's okay, right? I'm always like, be honest with yourself. But if it's something, it's not if, the world is changed, right? You don't want to get left behind. You want to start imbibing some skills that are necessary. So I would say start small, pace yourself, commit. But there's so many ways that the world is going today that you really want to be a part of as it's going. I see hands, but I don't know if...
Yeah.
Questions?
So we have ChatGPT, we have Yodlee, Perplexity.
Claude.
So I'll
You
come
have
at this
one or
from a
two?
different angle.
Okay,
Rather
a
than
different
telling you
angle.
the tools, the tool is only as good as what you put into it. So what you actually type in there is called prompts. So if there's something you want to take away, go and learn how to curate, how to craft effective prompts. There's something called prompt engineering. So go on Google and read about it. You will see lots of use cases, lots of infographics on what prompts are. If I was looking for a job and I wanted to craft a cover letter, I could tell ChatGPT or I could use Claude or PaperPal, say, attach my resume, craft a cover letter with my resume. Another way to do it could be craft a cover letter, a 500-word compelling cover letter that highlights the skills in my resume that are on the job description, highlighting X, Y, Z. There's a difference between the two prompts. And I've tried this many times in a workplace, and I've seen major differences. So if there's something that you can take away, rather than think of the tools, because there's so many tools out there, even if you just start with ChatGPT, that's a good place to start. Learn how to prompt. Learn how to craft effective prompts that would help your AI tool learn and adapt quicker and serve you better.
And I think I'm also going to say, when you use a prompt, because we had an executive role, and they all had to create a cover letter. And to tell you a lie, the cover letters were all the same, because everyone went to the same source. it was all the same. And all the candidates were disqualified and asked to do it again because, so when you're typing your prompt, you need to be quite creative with that. Otherwise, you think you're alone, but you are not. So now I am going to go to the questions. So 2 questions. Yeah. 5 minutes. Oh, you have a question. Can I come?
Thank you, Chooks. Obviously, AI is talked about immense benefit that AI does, which is amazing. But there's been so much in the media these days about AI and school children. So I'm talking children as young as 6, 7 years old. We give them assignments, they go home to use AI, and everybody, like I said, everybody's using this. So the problem now is, or the challenge is, people are saying, or what the media is saying, AI is actually eroding children's creativity. Even like you rightly said, you have executives that are coming for interviews, and everyone is providing the same sort of CV. So what would be your counter argument, or how can we mitigate against this?
Either you read my mind or you're using AI. Because really, I was actually I'm really very excited about AI and prospects, but also very concerned about how to make sure that AI is used responsibly. Because the function of the human brain, the brain can be shrinking if it loses its functionality about creative thinking, critical thinking, etc. Okay, I can tell you that I know how my brain expanded when I went back into the classroom. Oh gosh. Why? Okay. That's okay. So that was for online. That was the wrong mic apparently. So basically, I'm very excited about the prospects of AI, but looking critically about AI and the damage potentially on the human brain, because we are outsourcing our brain essentially in terms of critical thinking, creativity. When you just learn how to put prompts into something to craft your letter, it's all very well and good. It does it in a split second. But the human brain is built to perform certain things and reason and process. So the size of the human brain potentially, I mean, there are studies on this, can shrink over time. And I can tell you that I can attest to that because even going back into the classroom to study, and the effect and kind of getting that muscle, the brain working in a different way. You feel that tension in the early days of until the brain cells and the brain itself now regenerates. So what are your concerns or what are your thoughts regarding the negative impact on AI, on the human brain, and how we can learn the use or maybe integrate AI into our life in a responsible way?
Is it okay if I go first? Yeah. So you used 2 words there. One was damage, which I felt was very strong, and the other was shrink. That's fine. Those are very valid concerns. My first degree was in political science from Unilag, so go a Cockites, if there are any here.
I think the 3 of us went to Unilag.
So I studied history, which I enjoyed a lot. And if I bring that to the workplace, we've gone through waves of modernization, from steam engine to electricity to internet. Now we're in an age where we call the digital age. In the digital age, 40 years ago, there were concerns around the internet, right? And how the internet will affect and erode and dumb down our ability to really read books and go through material in the traditional way. Then came software. And there was a fear that software will do the same thing, will erode our ability to carry out certain tasks. Any advanced technology will have a trade-off between creating easier ways for us to do things but also opening up areas for us to focus our attention on. We're human beings. We're at the top of the food chain. We should be focusing on high-value activities. If I'm a banker and I have to go through 500 invoices in a day, I'm going to ask myself at some point, is there more to life than this? This is the value. This is not high cognitive. This is not challenging me. So one way to think of AI, which is one of the many ways, is that it frees you to focus on more high-value activities, high cognitive thinking in your day-to-day job. Now, bringing it back to the question of ethics and children using AI, I don't have all the answers, I certainly wouldn't have as much experience as my colleagues who came here speaking about resilient parenting and how to navigate that. But what I will say is, just with any technology, empathize, educate yourself, educate, enlighten yourself, and empathize that this is their journey. Get very intimate with how AI works. That way you can be able to influence and guide them and provide context, not knowledge, on how to use AI for better.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, when she was asking the question, I was thinking about my older sister. So my sister has 2 kids, and they're 6 and 8. And I remember, literally, this was last week, I sent them a picture that I created with AI. And I told AI, create a 5-year-old girl in the midst of sunflowers, give her shiny hair. I just wanted to do something cute for them because I'm the cool auntie, right? And I sent it to them. And I remember the older one, the 8-year-old, she called me. She was like, "Oh, Auntie, I saw that picture. It's so lovely. Show me how to do it." I was like, I know. This is where we'll end up, But literally on the call, she was like, "Oh, send me the link." I said, "No, I'm going to show you how to do it on my end." So we did a video call. I showed her. She was excited. I said, "Is mommy there? I'm going to send the link to mommy," right? So if you want to create another picture, mommy can create one for you. And I just, in my own auntie world, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, right? I see how much more work parents have to do. My mom says it all the time. She's like, you guys are trying. Because she's in the midst of us and she's just like, what is happening? This was not how it was when we were growing up, right? So there's clearly a lot more attention that you have to pay, even to yourself. I tell people, you can't be lazy about your life, right? So if AI is making you lazy, it's on you, right? It's not on AI. If you're not improving and you're relying on something else, that's your personal responsibility, right? And this is what I tell myself, like, your brain cannot be flat because there's a tool that solves all your problems. So literally anything I run through AI, I'm sitting down, reviewing it, writing it in a way that anyone that sees it is like, "Oh, Ifeoluwa wrote this," right? So I think a lot of that, the world as quickly as it's changing is also making us realize that we have to be a lot more responsible about ourselves, about our lives, about our minds, about our families, our children. And I think you cannot underestimate that because you can't stop it, right? So no matter how much you think is frustrating you, it's going to move on, and you don't want it to move on without you, right? So you have to be deliberate about how you're treating things, how you understand things, but more importantly, even how you're raising the younger generation to, adapt to these changes, because I feel like their own versions would be crazier than we even see it now. Yeah, I'm already afraid, but I know that fear is not how to handle it. It's feel the fear, but do it anyways, right? So, yeah.
Okay, we have more questions. So when I was...
So much, thank you. Good afternoon, all. I am Dr. Sandra. Thank you so much for your presentation. A contribution. I've been in tech for 24 years and worked for all types of businesses, all sorts of domains, all sorts of sectors, B2B, B2C, direct, all sorts. And what I would like to do is just to add credence to what it is you said. The 1 or 2 nuggets I got from you, but I feel strongly in me to share. And so my own nuggets to add to the equation, somebody who's been in the business for 24 years, is this. Just like the gentleman who spoke earlier said, look for the opportunities abound. Yes, in Nigeria, we laugh when they say the police is your friend, and we think, no, not really, they're not. The AI is your friend. You must find an angle to befriend it. As the gentleman said, pick your spot. The continuum is this wide. You can either choose to be at the tactical end of it and just get in or know who knows how to manipulate AI or use AI, or totally immerse yourself in it where you become machine learning engineers and prompt engineers and such like. No sector is immune. No sector. Agricultural, health, pharmaceutical, product design. I felt so strongly about this a few days ago. One of my businesses is IT Career University. We help people leapfrog from any sector into tech. I felt so strongly about this as somebody who has designed a lot of digital and physical products. I said to myself, I'm going to take 5 people from the cohort that just passed out, take them through the entire life cycle, from ideation to inception, from how they conceive their branding, to the messaging, to the content marketing, to the website design, to the warehousing, end to end, and just teach people, because AI is not going to go away. You are not going to pray it away. I remember when COVID happened. Yeah, I'm a pastor, and I said that. Yeah. I remember when COVID happened, the city of London was just dry. Everybody was home. Nobody dared to venture out. I used to be the only one on the train because I just freakily liked it. I just used to think, wow, this is nice, isn't it? I used to go to work. I had an appointment with Shaw, an insurance giant in the city then. All my colleagues were all home, but for the fun of it, I used to like going to the office, and you could still go to the office if you wanted to. I used to be the only person on the train taking selfies of myself because I know that we were never going to get to that point again. Even if COVID happens again, the world is ready for it because it got its digital infrastructures in place. Get into AI, be curious about it, befriend it, or be replaced by somebody who has chosen to befriend it or know it or be curious about it. If your business partners, if your collaborators, if your suppliers are not AI inclined, get worried. There's nothing wrong with having the conversation with them to say, you know what, this thing you are doing for me, this service you're providing for me, where is the AI in this? How are we using AI? Because let's face it, whatever sector it is you're involved in, there is competition. Strengthen your position by leveraging AI. AI is the lever you can pull. You know when you drive and you go from gear 1 to gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, if you're using the manual shaft, AI is that lever that you can pull. And I tell you, you can go from gear 1 to gear 6 with AI. Yes, it is absolutely possible. Somebody asked a question in the beginning, what is AI? This may frighten you, but the easiest way to understand it is human replacement. Yeah, cold. Human replacement. Tasks that were previously done by humans, now done by machines. There's still hope. And this is why you have to befriend AI. There's still opportunity for you to not be replaced by the machine. You can be smart about it, as the gentleman said. You can choose to become the person that now programs the machines or feeds the data into the machine, because the lifeblood of the human, the life of the human is in the blood. The life of AI is in the data. Without data, it can do nothing. So when you intentionally, deliberately then seek to be the person who knows about the data, yes, your job is sure. I can tell you.
Can you say a big thank you? Thank you. Because there's a bias that AI should just be for younger people, but pastor, auntie, Mrs., doctor has just come to drop everything.
Why wasn't she on
now.
the podium?
Pardon?
Why wasn't she on the podium?
I know she should. No, she's done her bit. She's done her bit.
Yeah.
So I know we can go on and on and on. It's such an interesting topic. So please connect with Chuks Anoche, Ifeoluwa, Ogumufumi, and if you're an HR person or aspiring HR person, connect with me on all our social media. It's Black Women in HR. But to close it out, I'm going to ask my panelists in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. What would you say to anyone that hasn't utilized AI? 60 seconds.
I'd say get on top of it, learn how to prompt, learn how to start interacting with AI, and from those prompts, you start to explore how you can utilize AI in your personal life and in your business life.
Fantastic. 60 seconds.
Yeah, I think on my end, I would say nothing beats an open mind. So stay open-minded about new things. Pace yourself. Again, you're not competing with anyone else. You're literally in a league of one, right? So pace yourself, but really make sure that you're being deliberate about your learning, because the world has changed. And again, like I said, don't get left behind.
So thank you so much.